In this video, we will explain absolutely everything you need to know to travel to Ecuador. This is the definitive guide and the most complete video you will watch today about the country of the four worlds. We will cover the logistics of how to visit the imaginary line that divides the planet in half, how to build an itinerary that mixes the avenue of volcanoes in the Andes with the Amazon rainforest, and of course the enchanted Galapagos Islands. We will also teach you why Ecuador uses the US dollar, how to avoid altitude sickness in Quito, and where to taste the best chocolate in the world. So let us get started. Ecuador is one of the smallest countries in South America, but it is probably the most biodiverse per square foot. In a few hours' drive, you go from sea level on the tropical coast up to snow-capped mountains of 20,000 feet and down to the humid Amazon jungle. It is an affordable destination on the continent, except Galapagos with scenic roads and a very strong indigenous culture. Quito, the capital, was the first city in the world to be declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Now let us move on to logistics and planning. What is the best time to visit Ecuador? Since the country is on the equator, it does not have 4 seasons, but it has microclimates. In the Andes, Quito Cotopaxi Cuenca, the dry season runs from June to September. It is the best time with blue skies and visible volcanoes. From October to May, it usually rains more in the afternoons, but it is visitable. In Galapagos, from December to May, the water is warmer and clearer. Great for snorkeling, but it rains a little. From June to November, the Humboldt Current cools the water and brings more nutrients, attracting much more marine life, although the sea gets choppier. In the Amazon, it rains all year round, but August and December tend to be less rainy. And how many days to stay in Ecuador? To do only the mainland Quito Avenue of volcanoes and baños. 7 days are sufficient. To include Cuenca and the Devil's Nose train, 10 days. To do the dream itinerary mainland plus Galapagos, set aside at least 12 to 14 days. Galapagos requires time and investment. Now let us talk about transportation. How to get around Ecuador. To arrive there are flights to Mariscal Sucre Airport UIO in Quito, or José Joaquín de Olmedo, Guihuay in Guayaquil. To get around inside the country, distances are short, but roads are winding and climb mountains. The bus system is cheap and frequent. But for those who want comfort and safety, we recommend hiring private drivers or using tourist buses. Hop on, hop off like Ecuador Hop. Uber works very well in Quito and Guayaquil. To go to Galapagos, you mandatorily need to fly from the mainland, about a 2-hour flight. There is no boat from the mainland to the islands. Staying in a good region will make your trip much easier. The strategy is safety and location. In Quito, the decision is between historic charm and modernity. The historic center is beautiful, full of churches and boutique hotels and colonial mansions, but it gets deserted and feels unsafe at night. The region of La Mariscal, or La Carolina near the park, is the modern safe part full of restaurants, malls, and nightlife. We prefer to stay in the modern part and visit the center by day. In Cuenca, stay in the historic center near the new cathedral. It is safe and charming. In Galapagos, Santa Cruz, stay in Puerto Ayora, near the boardwalk and the port, to facilitate the departure of boat tours. We created this personalized map that explains exactly which is the best region in each of these cities. Staying in this marked area, you cannot go wrong. We will leave here on the screen QR code and in the video description the link to this exclusive map. We created them on the hotel site we always use, as it always has the best prices and reliable options. An important tip to save on accommodation is the advanced strategy. Galapagos has a limited supply of good and cheap hotels. In Quito, hotels with views of the volcanoes are also disputed. That is why we really like using this site we indicated. In addition to having the lowest prices, it has free cancellation with almost all hotels. You can book as soon as possible to guarantee a much lower price, and if you need to cancel later, it is super easy. And remembering that in this link below, we always organize everything you need to set up your entire trip for the lowest price on a single page. The sites we use to build our trips and that have everything much cheaper, such as international eSIM, cell phone chip, to have internet discounted travel insurance mandatory for Galapagos, tickets for tours, good and cheap hotels we have already stayed at, and the global account. Save this page in your favorites. Now let us get to the main detailed regions and attractions. The first region is Quito and the middle of the world. Quito is the second highest capital in the world at 9,300 feet. Start by going up the Teleférico to the Pichincha volcano to see the city from above. Take a jacket and coca tea. Explore the historic center, visiting the Church of the Company of Jesus, which is entirely covered in gold inside. Go to the Ciudad Mitad del Mundo complex to take the classic photo with one foot in the northern hemisphere and the other in the southern. The second region is the Avenue of Volcanoes. It is the road that goes south, surrounded by giant mountains. The highlight is Cotopaxi National Park. The Cotopaxi volcano is a perfect snow cone, one of the highest and most active in the world. You can drive to the parking lot and hike to the refuge in the snow. Another mandatory stop is the Quiloto Lagoon, an incredible emerald-colored lagoon that sits inside the crater of an extinct volcano. The third region is Baños de Agua Santa. It is the adventure capital. It is at the gateway to the Amazon. Visit the Pylon del Diablo waterfall, a waterfall with brutal force where you go down stone stairs. The most famous place on Instagram is here the Casa del Arbol, where the swing at the end of the world is located, where you swing over a precipice overlooking the Tungurahua volcano. The fourth region is Cuenca. Considered the most beautiful city in Ecuador, it has preserved colonial architecture, 4 rivers that cross the city, and the famous Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception with its blue domes. It is the place to buy the authentic Panama hat. Yes, it is made in Ecuador, not Panama. The fifth region is Galapagos. It is a world apart. You need to pay an expensive entrance fee, about $100 to $200 in cash upon arrival. There you swim with sea lions, giant tortoises, penguins, and hammerhead sharks. Visit the Charles Darwin Station and Tortuga Bay Beach. An important tip that will save you time and money is to buy tickets for attractions and tours in advance. Boat tours in Galapagos, called navigable tours to islands like Bartolomé or North Seymour, have very limited spots and sell out months before. We will leave in the QR code on the screen and in the description the link to the site where we always buy tickets and tours for the lowest price. Let us go shopping. Ecuador uses the US dollar, so prices are easy to understand. The largest indigenous market in South America is in Otavalo, 2 hours from Quito. At the Plaza de Ponchos, buy colorful textiles, alpaca blankets, and crafts. Ecuadorian chocolate is considered the best in the world. Brands like Pacari or República del Cacao are great gifts. And of course, the Toquilla straw hat, Panama hat. Speaking of gastronomy, Ecuadorian food is rich and cheap. In the Andes, try locro de papa creamy potato soup with cheese and avocado and lapingachos potato cakes with peanut sauce. On the coast, the king dish is a fish soup with onion and yucca that they eat for breakfast to cure hangovers. Ecuadorian ceviche is different from Peruvian. It has more broth and usually comes with popcorn and banana chips. And what to do at night. In Quito Plaza in the Ley Mariscal neighborhood is the center of the action, full of bars and clubs. In Cuenca, Calle Larga has several bars overlooking the river. In Baños, the main street turns into a party with Latin music. And if you are traveling with kids, Ecuador is a biology classroom. They love the middle of the world for the scientific experiments like making an egg stand up. Baños has many parks and zip lines. And Galapagos is paradise because the animals are not afraid of humans and get very close. Mandatory documentation for international tourists. To enter Ecuador, you generally need a valid passport. No visa is required for US citizens. Attention! The yellow fever vaccine is mandatory if you are visiting the Amazon, and they may ask for the international certificate at immigration. And remembering travel insurance. Ecuador has high altitudes and adventure activities. Medical costs are in dollars. We never travel without it, and in the link in the description there is the comparator we use. And to combine your trip. Ecuador borders Colombia to the north and Peru to the south. It is very common to do a backpacking trip combining Ecuador with Peru, crossing the land border to reach the beaches of northern Peru, Mancera. If you liked this complete and deep guide, like the video, and subscribe to our channel to travel more and better around the world. Thank you very much, and have a safe trip.